Hey guys, it is Wednesday, midday. I'm in between my classes and have time to do a video. Eat, if you can see, big ass apple. So awesome. um, and yeah, I have my yoga class. Well, not yoga class, but it's a yoga ethics and history and all that tonight. It's about almost 2.5 hour class just on Wednesday nights. But so I have time to kind of chat with you guys. I'm having a hard time because, believe it or not, this is like the 5th millionth time I'm videoing this video. I'm having a hard time fitting it all into one 10-minute video. I always have way too much to say. So I wanted to make this my phase 2 of awakening, but I kind of just want to cut to the chase because my whole story of this is too long almost. But it's my phase 2 of my awakening. Phase 1 was with Jordan when he was born, and he kind of jump started my anxiety, which led me to a whole bunch of other things, my alien experience and my really cool meditation that I had, and I'm going to make little videos of that to get more in depth with you guys and more personal. And yeah, so when I say phase 2, it's just to be as like a title, a timeline. Awakening is many different phases if you really want to get into it, and takes a long time. I don't think we ever all truly like really wake up. We wake up, but it's like, yeah, it's hard to explain. But it's a work in progress always. It's like a life thing. If you are awake to it. So phase 2 is my knee injury. It happened about 2.5 years ago. I ended up rupturing my ACL, my ACL came off completely, not attached, and tearing a little bit of my meniscus. And I don't want to get too much detail because it ends up taking, I literally tried to do this so many times and it ended up being almost 20 minutes, and I want it to be one 10-minute video. So when you come from a really bad injury like that, I was pretty much on top of the world. I had, previously as a white belt, placed 3rd at PANS, and then I got my blue belt a little bit after that. So I was a baby blue belt when this happened, and when you're a baby blue belt, you're just now getting into the swing of things, not so spazzy, you're starting to understand a lot more things. Things are starting to connect a lot more. Plus, I just placed, in a pretty good tournament. So I was feeling good. So when this injury happened, I was jumping triangle and did it wrong. My foot planted, and my leg turned with my foot staying still. So snap, crackle, pop. That's what happened. It was pretty bad. Anybody who has had an injury like that significant, I'm talking, and I know a lot of you have, so you know what I'm talking about, but when you get the surgery, my knee was sliced open, staples down my knee, legit. I have pictures on my IG if you want to go back and look at them, but pretty bad. So something like that can mess with your mental, bad, physically, obviously, but your mental gets tested, right? And I call this phase 2 of my awakening because it showed me how strong I really am. And it showed me that when you change your perspective on something really bad like that, that it can change your whole world. And that's pretty much what it did for me. So after surgery, I did a whole 360, spin, and ended up changing how I thought about it. And I decided to take advantage of this moment instead of letting it tear me down, get me depressed, and make excuses. I literally called my personal trainer, and I was like, I need to get in there. I'm not gonna neglect my body just because one part of it needs a little more special care than the rest. So I can still work my arms, I can still do abs, you know, I could still be active and cater to this little guy right here. Oh, and look at my socks. Thank you, Jamie. Anyways, so that was a huge part in a turning point in my life, to be honest, and I'm so grateful for it now that I look back on it. It ended up being a huge blessing instead of a burden, to be honest. Even though I'm still having problems with it, in my heart and my truth, I feel like I still have lessons to be learned from it, which I am. I'm learning every day from it, to be honest. But in that moment in time, which was like 2.5 years ago, I took it as a huge sign, a huge confidence boost that made me, I was a strong person. I'm a strong person. Like I'm mentally, I'm strong. Like, you know, I might have my moments, but with something so significant like that, like huge, like surgery, like busting that thing open, like, you know, and being out for months and being taken away from something that I love to do, and I just, you know, pretty much like it was like on my way, you know, and it fucked me up, but I turned it around and I felt stronger. I mentally stronger, and I pushed past it, and I proved a lot to myself. And it was all because I changed my perspective on it. I could have sat on the couch, made excuses to why I shouldn't be doing certain things, but instead I wanted to be proactive. I strongly believe in being proactive about things. If you don't like something, fix it. Be proactive, fix it. Do it. I don't know what's stopping you. You know what I mean? Just do it. If you don't like it, fix it, change it. Change your perspective, then change it. Because if you change the way you think about it, it's easier to go out there and change it, you know? So that was a huge turning point in my life, and I'm so grateful for that learning experience that brought me. And, you know, I'm recently having more issues. My knee keeps popping out. And when I mean popping out, it pops out like a socket. You know, it's not the kneecap. Everybody's asking me if the kneecap goes to the side, but it's actually literally inside my knee that pops out to where I can't straighten it and I can't bend it back all the way. So it's pretty painful when it happens. I've limited my training, which is frustrating. But again, I'm taking this as a learning experience. I have to accept certain positions when I train now. And it's frustrating because I don't want to get into that habit of doing that. You know what I mean? Like muscle memory, I don't want to get into that habit. I have to train with only certain people, which can be frustrating because I want to evolve my jiu-jitsu, but I can't. I really can't right now. Like I learn new techniques, but a lot of them I can't do, you know, without the fear of my knee popping out, which it has. It's popped out when I've turned over in bed. Out of nowhere. It's popped out when I've gotten up from the floor. So it's progressively gotten worse. But again, I could take this as being an excuse to be depressed and sit on the couch and woe is me and all that, you know, but I'm taking it as a huge learning experience. And I think that's what we all need to do, is just sit back, take in the whole picture of what's going on, and figure out what it's trying to teach us. Because with every dark situation, there's a light that's trying to teach us something. Again, like I've said before, dark brings us closer to the light of our truth, of our next step in our awakening, or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't have to be called awakening, but for me it is. I'm getting closer and closer and closer and closer. But to be honest, there is no end to the awakening, in my opinion. I mean, some people might think otherwise, but always learning, always, you just keep going. So if I had to give you any advice on this, you know, if you have a significant injury like that, keep pushing through it, change your perspective, be proactive, keep doing what you want to do. Just, you know your limitations, protect that spot that needs to be protected, and keep pushing through it. Because just because something like that happened to you doesn't mean you have to change your whole life. Keep doing what you want to do and let it teach you. So that's my little tidbit. Ended up doing it in 10 minutes. I had so much more to say, but love you guys. See you soon.